All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're figuring out how to add those stunning, web-like glowing borders to your native B4X apps. And we're going to do it without relying on heavy external libraries. You know the struggle, right? If you've been in mobile or desktop dev for a while, you see these gorgeous dynamic CSS effects on modern sites like Tailwind or daisyUI, and you want them in your native apps. But getting there usually means either embedding a bulky web view, which totally kills performance, or writing incredibly complex OpenGL code that takes, frankly, days to debug. Well, today we're looking at a native solution that solves this exact pain point. It's going to let you instantly modernize your UI with some serious dynamic flair. Let's actually look at the visual evidence right off the bat. Check out how the Aura component instantly modernizes standard UI elements. What you're seeing here, that is running at a buttery smooth 60 frames per second completely natively. We've got these gorgeous, rotating gradient borders effortlessly wrapping around a standard data card. And over here, they're tightly hugging a primary action button. Just look at how it adapts to totally different color schemes. You've got a sleek dual tone effect, a really bright rainbow sweep, and this vibrant neon Holo style. Honestly, it looks exactly like a heavy, complex shader effect that would normally just tank a mid-range phone's battery. But as we're going to explore, it's remarkably elegant and surprisingly lightweight to actually implement. So here's our roadmap. 1, we'll meet the Aura component. 2, we'll see how the illusion actually works. 3, customizing your Aura styles. 4, wrapping your UI elements. And finally, number 5, performance and cleanup.
All right, let's kick things off with section 1, meet the Aura component. This is your drop-in solution for modern UI design.
So at its core, B4XDaisyAura is basically a decorative wrapper. It draws what looks like a rotating conic gradient, essentially a sweeping border light, around any child element you choose. That could be a user profile card, a submit button, whatever you want. But here is the absolutely crucial thing to understand about the architecture. The child element, let's say it's your main checkout button, sits in a protected fixed slot exactly on top of this wrapper. Why does that matter? Because your button never actually moves. It doesn't rotate, it stays perfectly stationary. And that means it completely retains all of its native touch events, click listeners, focus states, and material ripple effects with absolutely zero interference. The user is just interacting with a standard native button, totally unaware of the visual heavy lifting happening right behind it. Moving on to section 2, how the illusion works. And spoiler alert, no complex shaders required. Now, you might be fully expecting some heavy graphics code or custom GPU shaders to pull off that smooth, sweeping light effect. I mean, normally, to get a gradient to follow a rounded path, developers go straight for shaders. But guess what? There isn't a single shader in this entire repository. And that is a massive advantage, because let's be real, custom GPU shaders in mobile apps often lead to a total nightmare of cross-device compatibility issues. A shader that works flawlessly on a brand new flagship device might literally crash an older tablet, not to mention the heavy battery drain from constant GPU pulling. So instead of going down that risky path, this component uses a really brilliant illusion that relies entirely on proven, lightweight, native drawing primitives. Okay, so the secret sauce is this 3-step process. Try to visualize this with me. First, the component draws a conic disk on a standard B4X canvas. Just imagine a flat, colorful pie chart where the slices are different shades of a gradient. Got it? Second, it takes that canvas and spins it infinitely using the native Android rotate animation. It's like taking that pie chart and tossing it on a record player turntable, just endlessly spinning in a circle. Third, and this is the really clever part, it places that spinning canvas inside a fixed parent panel and applies the native setClip-to-outline property, setting it to true. Basically, we're taking a spinning circle of colors and locking it inside a stationary box. And right here, this is where the magic happens. This brilliantly illustrates why it looks like a glowing border. The clip host, which is that outer parent panel with the corner radius you specified, it stays perfectly still. Think of it exactly like a stationary window or a picture frame. Because the spinning canvas is clipped to this fixed rounded outline, you only see the rotating pie wedges peeking out at the very edges, right around the border of your stationary child element. The colors rotate endlessly behind a fixed, rounded mask. Your brain interprets this as a single light traveling perfectly around the border. But in reality, it's literally just a spinning disk hidden behind a smart clipping mask. It gives you that ultra-modern border light with virtually zero performance overhead. Pretty genius, right? All right, section 3, customizing your Aura styles. Let's talk about tailoring that glow to perfectly match your app. Out of the box, you have 7 beautifully built-in styles, designed to match almost any app aesthetic. These are split up into 2 main categories:
First up, you have your single color styles. This includes default, a steady, breathing glow, and a dual comet effect. For these, you can apply an optional single color override to match your brand identity perfectly, say your exact shade of corporate blue. Then you have the predefined multicolor palettes, and man, these are fantastic. The cyberpunk Holo style cycles through these super vibrant neon hues, giving it a really modern tech vibe. Or the gold and silver styles, which give you this premium metallic sweep that looks absolutely incredible on high-end UI cards or premium upgrade buttons. Oh, and a quick heads up, because those multicolor styles rely on highly specific calculated color arrays, they automatically ignore any single color overrides you might accidentally pass in. That just ensures they maintain their unique multi-tonal look without getting messed up.
Beyond just the colors, you've got incredibly granular control over the behavior and geometry of the effect. You can easily control the visual weight by adjusting the size property. That dictates the ring thickness, anywhere from a subtle, extra small hairline all the way up to a chunky, extra large border. You can also tweak the duration property to change the rotation speed in milliseconds. So, make it a frantic spin for a loading state, or maybe a slow, luxurious crawl for a premium feature. Now, this next one is absolutely vital. You can perfectly match the corner radius of your nested buttons using the rounded tokens, like rounded full for pill buttons or rounded MD for standard cards. Look, if your nested button has a 15-dip corner radius, your aura has to hug that curve perfectly. If it doesn't match, the whole illusion shatters. So having these exact tokens is a total lifesaver. Finally, there's auto start, which just ensures the animation kicks off the exact second the view attaches to the screen. It saves you from writing annoying boilerplate startup code.
Let's move to Section 4, wrapping your UI elements. It's time to actually put Aura into your code. When you're ready to add the Aura to your layout views, you basically have two primary methods at your disposal: add to parent and wrap. Now sure, you can use add to parent to insert it as a standard background layout element from scratch, but honestly, the wrap method is going to be your absolute best friend, especially if you're working with legacy codebases. Just imagine you have a massive app with, 50 existing buttons spread across a dozen layout files. With the wrap method, you don't have to rebuild your layout files or mess with all your designer constraints. With a single line of code, wrap will intercept an already initialized child view, cleanly remove it from its current parent, wrap it in the glow, and instantly pop it right back exactly where it was. It's a real game changer for instantly upgrading an existing UI element. Now, when you are actually coding this, there's a little bit of simple layout math to keep in mind so the illusion holds up. You want to set the aura's initial width and height to perfectly match your intended child element. From there, the wrapper automatically grows its own total footprint by 2 times the thickness on each side. So, to put that into perspective, if your button is 100 pixels wide and you set your ring thickness to 5 pixels, the Aura calculates that and sizes itself to 110 pixels. That way, it frames the button perfectly with a 5-pixel border on both the left and the right. And because of this background calculation, you absolutely must remember to configure your styles, sizes, and colors before you call the add to parent or wrap methods. The component needs all those parameters locked in so it can do the math and calculate its total size before drawing to the screen. Make sense?
And that brings us to our final part, Section 5, Performance and Cleanup, and Ensuring Regression Safety.
Look, we've all been there, right? You find this flashy new UI library on a forum, you import it, and boom, it instantly breaks 3 other things in your layout or conflicts with another library. The beauty of B4XDaisyAura is that it is incredibly safe to drop into active production-ready apps. It's a brand new, completely self-contained class module. It doesn't edit, modify, or risk breaking a single one of your existing components. It doesn't overwrite global styles. It just does its one specific job quietly and efficiently in the background.
However, with great power comes a little bit of developer responsibility. Since the component relies on an infinite spin loop via Android's rotation animation and internal ticking timers, there is one cardinal rule you cannot break. You absolutely must call the release method on your Aura object when your view or page is destroyed. For instance, you drop this right inside the B4X page disappear event. Calling release cleanly stops the timer, clears out the heavy canvas memory, and nullifies callbacks. If you skip this, well, that animation timer will just keep trying to run off screen forever, and that is a guaranteed absolute certain way to cause severe out-of-memory errors and completely torture users' battery. So absolutely wrap your elements, but always remember to release them.
And there you have it. By combining a simple stationary clipping mask with a spinning geometry canvas, you get this beautiful, high-performance UI upgrade without touching a single shader or importing a massive dependency. You've just unlocked web-tier UI styling right inside native B4X. So the real question is, now that you know the secret behind the magic trick,
What other complex UI components can you reverse engineer using nothing but clever native drawing primitives? Go get out there, start experimenting, and see what you can build. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy coding.